Welcome back, everybody. We are playing Unconditional Surrender. This is the affectionately known the C.U.C.U campaign. Stands for Collapse the UK, or Cripple the UK and Collapse USSR, which my opponent has done very well. He has a definite medlock in here. So if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. You really like to see, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notify bell to be notified when I upload videos and our scheduled streams. We are continuing through this. We are in April of 1944. And we'll just go ahead and get started here. This is us. Oh, the weather, for those that need to know. Severe in the cold zone and mild in warm are both poor. So not a lot is going to happen here. Get rid of the turn track. This is us just doing production here. And then this is strategic warfare versus the Soviets. So he rolled a 4 and I rolled an 8, so they lost one. But then I didn't have any bombers, so I'm only at a +2 and he's at a +6 because he has a complete medlock, including the Iraq. So I went ahead and threw out an ultra trying to recover things, and he threw out a submarines. He rolled a 4 + 6 is a 10, divided by 2 is 5. I rolled a 6, which is a 3, so I ended up losing a factory anyway. So it didn't work. And I get mine back in 4 turns, he gets his back in 5. Put those on the turn track for later. He gets another factory. And now we should be at strategic movement for the axis. Close this down. And he moves this army from 3513 to 3011 right here. There's an American fighter here somewhere. I don't know where it was. There's an American fighter that had, and this guy should be flipped over too. He gave, so he does a little bit of movement here. Since he's dealing with severe, it's like he doesn't have to withdraw. So I'm not making very much headway. I think I've gained like a couple hexes through the winter, and he's kind of just setting himself up for, so that I can't get surrounded. I had invaded Norway earlier, and he is basically just he's got the entire German, like 4 of the 7 German aircraft here, which I just can't match. So I am going to be abandoning Norway if I can. So I went ahead and assaulted up here. He rolled a 1. I rolled a 1, so nothing happened. And then he tried to assault again. I think he decided not to. Or maybe he did. And then he went garrison to Oslo. And then he went right into his supply subphase. Actually, before he did that, he moved him some airplanes around. And then did some supply there. Had to do the Middle East supply. I do have guys sitting down here, and it's fair down here, so he's like, I got to keep these guys in supply in case you decide to land in the Suez. So now we're in the Western Action subphase. I decided to just leave Norway, try and keep as much of my army intact as I can. I think he came after me with the Italian fleet. He was a 4, and I was a 1, or a 2. So I took 2 sorties on the fleet. And we just landed in Cardiff. We moved him into there. What did I do here? What am I doing? Third convoy. I moved the third convoy from here down into that spot. Picked up the airplane and said I needed to get back towards England. Then I went ahead and tried to do bombing because it is, you know, crappy weather, so I have a chance maybe of getting through. We just moved the bombers. And so he decided to intercept with this one, I believe. It's +2, -2. And I'm minus very much. I get a 1 no matter what. He rolled a 3, so he got me for... Yeah, I don't know why we had him at 1. He should have been at 0. Yeah, I still haven't got it to recognize the bomber as a bomber instead of... So he kicked me out of that one. And why did we move the fighter down here? So I went in here. He said, no, thank you. I think he let me have that one. Nope, he rolled a 6. We're not doing this right. Oh, no, he used that one. And I think I just kind of stopped at that point. Because he did in all my bombers. Okay. And the reason why I moved this guy back here and went to no supplies, I'm just going to remove him in the no supply phase. Just keep me from losing willpower. So going to the Soviet actions, you know, not a thing really earth-shattering here. I'm like +2, and it is severe. Oops, wrong thing. Checking the weather again. It is severe, so we will be halved with our die rolls. So I'm like +2 to 0, and we're both halved. I rolled a 3, or he rolled a 3. He rolled a defender die. I rolled a 7, halved to a 4, and he's a 2, so he gets retreated. I take the hex. Big deal. And then we tried to do this here. I rolled a 7, halved down to a 4. He rolled a 7, halved down to a 4, so nothing happened there. We attack from there. Just kind of trying to push him across the river. I rolled a 1 + 2 is a 3. He can't make me AS, so we didn't bother to roll the defender die. So we attacked here. Follow those. Attacked there. And didn't do anything to him. Then I moved this guy up here because I felt like I needed to have more push in the north. And I think, yeah, I did one more attack on the Yugoslav. It's basically 0 to 0 and halved, and he rolled a 1, I rolled a 2, so it didn't work. Moved the airplane up. My airplane's a little closer to the front. Moved it infantry up onto a. Just got that infantry on the rails because you need it to. Then I just moved a hex up that way. And we went into the no supply phase for the West, and I just take them off. And now we're doing replacements. So the Axis is just replacing all his airplanes. Does his Italian replacements as well. And I think so. We've got me doing the West here. Did all the Americans first because they're automatic. And then I'm doing some British here, I think. And then the Soviets did their airplanes. And I upgraded that to the 2nd Armored, the BEF. And that, I think, is going to be the Soviets decide to upgrade that guy to a Guards unit. And I had to take off those guys to do that. Axis built an infantry unit in Königsberg. The West. I had a bunch of units to build that I'd lost in various places and reinforcements and stuff, so just bringing in all my lost units here. So I'm a little behind the curve because I didn't have these guys in there at full strength. We go through the victory check, end of turn phase, which is just going to be taking stuff off the track and putting it on here. So, I do have the British finally got back their surprise attack marker. I have one American, one here still. I think I have another one coming. Do I have both American ones? Oh, I have both Americans. So I have all 3 surprise attack markers for the West. Hoping for fair weather in May. And that is the end of turn phase. And then we roll the weather for the next turn. 452, which made that a warm zone. Became fair, but I don't have anything that can actually attack in the warm zone, except maybe at Iraq. And then pour in the others. And that's the end of this turn. So I'm going to do these 1 video per turn. I will say that at this point in the game, we're kind of assuming that Germany's probably going to win because I have so much that I have to do and very little time to do it in. So we are talking about, we are discussing throughout the game what's the best possible situation, to do things in. So every turn is rather than just seeing what he does or whatever, we actually discuss between us what's the best German, what's the better German defense, what's the better Allied attack. Earlier on, I had tried, like I think in 42, to go into Basra and failed the invasion. I did invade in 43 into Suez, held out there for like 3 or 4 turns, and then he, just shifted the German army to take care of me. And at the end of 43, I landed here in Norway thinking I could hang on to it, and he just overwhelmed me with the Air Force. One of the things that we do, that we are testing out that seems to be working right now, is that the German army does not need the German Air Force to hold in the poor weather turns. A fair weather turns comes, he's going to retreat the German army back towards Germany, where he can have airplanes stationed like over here in around Posen and things like that, and he can hold off the German or the Russian Air Force a little bit. So, because of the timing of the game, the biggest threat to the Germans right now is in the west, because that's where I have all my Air Force. I can overwhelm his Air Force here if he only has a couple airplanes. So he has 4 airplanes here and 2 airplanes here, and then he has another one in here just so he gets the extra +1. So he's +3 against the Soviets, and he's +6 against the West. So he's going to maintain his production schedule fairly well, because I can't get through all these airplanes to drop bombs. It does leave them open in the east for the Soviets to overwhelm him with air power, but if you properly time your withdrawal in the east, you won't lose but maybe a few miners and maybe a German unit, and you'll have almost the entire German army sitting on the Polish to Romanian border. And that's very hard not to crack, because then the German Air Force will be able to switch between fronts fairly quickly. So that's it for April of 1944. This is only about 17, 18 minutes. The poor weather turns are going really quickly. So we will pick it up next time. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. If you really like to see, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notify bell. Be notified and upload videos in our scheduled streams. We do plan to play this one out so we can see how far the west and the east can get. At the current levels, he has like an 82? 85 willpower. So he used to be at 87. I've actually chipped off a couple of infantry units along the way. So he's at 87 will points, and there's only like, I think all the cities in Germany come out to like 42 or something with all of their conquests. So I have to take every city, because I don't think I can do like 40 points of damage to his armies. His armies altogether only have, I think, 20 something, 28 maybe or something. So it's a long haul for the West. We've got to make penetration, and we've got to get into grabbing the German cities, which is why I've just kind of given up on the whole Middle East thing. The reason why I'm leaving these guys in down here, just as a quick strategy thing, he and I both agree that you have to leave this here for as long as possible, because it does tie down a German infantry and some Italian infantry. If there was nothing here, he has no reason to even guard any of this. As long as there's a couple of units here with the threat of an invasion, he does have to pay attention somewhat. Come later here in 44, like by the end of the summer of 44, he's not going to need to do this anymore, because he's not going to care. If I want to waste a surprise attack marker to go in here in 44 when I need to be going into France, you almost want that as the Germans. You're like, yeah, please go ahead. Because you're once you get into the last 12 turns of the game, the Germans are not so worried about territory way out here. They're much more worried about making sure that nobody can penetrate the German defenses around Germany. And if he has all of his army there and all of his air force there, with the Italians, just kind of hanging around, he doesn't need to worry about if the West wants to come in here in 44. You welcome them playing around in the Middle East in 44, because the game's going to end in 45. So All right, like I said, if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. Really like to see you, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notify bell to be notified, upload videos, and or schedule streams. Like I said, we're doing a strategic review of everything we think needs to be done by the Germans and the Allies to try and maximize their chances. All right, I'm Gen 608. Until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.